What an absolute joke this league has become. The league known as the National Hockey League, the NHL, is an absolute joke when it comes to things such as the draft, the lottery, and everything else. If you don't know who I am Andrew of the Cheap Seats Network. Yes, there has not been a video for a while. Sports are kind of starting up. I'm going to kind of wait till everything does start again. But tonight we had something. It was the NHL Draft Lottery. And I was thinking, maybe I'll make a video about this. And yes, I'm wearing my favorite team's jersey. It's no secret who my team is. I've had a flag in the background of videos all the time. And I didn't even care. My team has been an absolute tire fire. I almost didn't even want them to get the first overall pick. They don't deserve it. They don't. Who deserved it? Detroit and Ottawa. Two of the worst teams in the NHL who desperately need help. The Detroit Red Wings were historically bad this year before COVID-19 took over. Ottawa, they've been pretty bad. They knew this is what they were getting into when they traded Erik Karlsson. I mean, they even had San Jose's pick, which was a potential top 3 as well. Ended up being at number 3, but their number 2 pick falls to number 5. Of course, you probably already know the results of the draft lottery from tonight. Everyone moved places. It is not where anyone was supposed to pick, and the number 1 overall pick in the 2020 NHL draft, whenever the hell that is going to be, is going to belong to a team who was put into the play-in rounds that was selected by the NHL. If you didn't know, the play-in rounds previous to what they had before all got shuffled in to incorporate, it is reported, certain teams such as Montreal, New York, etc. There was original plans that weren't even supposed to include these teams, the big market teams, but of course, swiftly, they said, no, we need these teams in the playoffs because it's going to bring in viewers. And trust me, the NHL right now is probably not in a good place because they're already talking about the next 3 years, the salary cap will not be touched. It's unbelievable. The draft lottery has been an absolute joke for years. And again, I am not saying that because my team has lost twice in a row. Right there, that's a joke. But go look at the winners of the draft lottery. Weird how it's teams that have a good fan base but have been struggling financially, or teams that shouldn't even have a damn team and somehow get it to try to drive the fans in. In the last 9 NHL draft lotteries, 6 of the teams who were supposed to pick at number 1 did not pick at number 1. That's an issue. If in 6 of the last 9 drafts, the team who was finished last did not even get to pick at number 1 is an absolute joke. Who were the teams who actually finished last and got to make their pick with the original one? Buffalo Sabres with Rasmus Dahlin, after already previously losing 2 draft lotteries before that. The Toronto Maple Leafs, whoa shocker, of course, they won their lottery, got Austin Matthews. And the other one, the Edmonton Oilers when they drafted Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You go look at every other draft since, the team who was dead last has not made their picks. Here, I'll read them to you. Let's go back, last year, 2019, start there. Ottawa was in dead last. New Jersey wins the lottery, gets Jack Hughes. The year before was Buffalo getting Dahlin. Now let's go again. Colorado, 2017, dead last. New Jersey wins the lottery again. Weird, a team that was on the brink of bankruptcy gets Nico Hischier. 2016, Toronto, they got Austin Matthews. Again, shocker, the league's mecca. They tanked. They did everything that went against what the league does. But they still somehow got the first overall pick, which is just odd, bizarre things. 2015, again, this is not sour grapes. Edmonton wins the lottery. They're supposed to pick number 3. They win the lottery, get Connor McDavid. 2014, Florida, who was supposed to pick a number 2, wins the lottery as well, gets Aaron Ekblad. Weird, Florida. That same year, they were talking about a shortage of money. Bizarre that they wanted that one as well. 2013, Florida, who finished dead last, ends up losing it to Colorado. Nathan McKinnon goes to Colorado in that draft. 2012, Columbus finished last. Edmonton wins the lottery again, gets Nail Yakupov. Then the year before that, Edmonton did finish last. They actually got the pick. They got Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So now you're going to sit there and tell me that they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to find out if we're even going to play hockey. We don't even know if there is going to be these play-ins, if there's going to be playoffs, there is going to be anything this season. We don't know. Their first priority, Gary Bettman, Bill Daley, the first thing they had to do, we don't even know the damn hub cities. They're still talking about that there's 5 to 6 hub cities that have to be picked. We don't even know if they're going to play hockey this year. But Gary Bettman and Bill Daley had to sit in this office and go, let's do a draft lottery. Just do a draft lottery. Who's going to be in it? We don't know. The teams who aren't in it, okay, what about the teams in the playoffs? Yeah, they could win. What? So basically, everybody's got a shot at this thing, except for the teams who basically won their division. That seems fair. That seems reasonable. That seems about right. No, in the NHL's world, it makes sense. I don't get it. Like, what an awful night for everyone. Ottawa had 2 and 3. They had a combined 25% chance at this pick, and they were picking a 3 and 5. Their second overall pick is the one that dropped to 5. Detroit, number 1. Historically bad, like I said. Number 4. What are you doing, NHL? Do it like football and do it like baseball. If you're bad, you get the last pick. It will not encourage tanking. In football, do you see every team trying to go 0-16? No. For example, last year the Miami Dolphins were supposed to be bad. After the first game, they got killed by Baltimore. Everyone thought this team is not going to win a game. They ended up picking 5th overall in the draft. They ended up winning way more than anyone thought. They didn't play for the pick. They did their thing. And look how they were rewarded. They got their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, still got drafted to Miami, who was the guy they were talking about at the beginning of the season, that if they picked number 1, he was going to be their guy. Things fell in place. The NHL has to step up, stop making this a circus to try and sell it to whoever. Because it's an embarrassment, because the only people suffering now are the fans. These teams have been bad, and they have been bad for a little while. And they are going to continue to be bad because the NHL wants to pander to the casual fan and try and get them to buy in. That's what this is. Bettman and Bill Daley do not care about the hardcore fan. They do not care about anybody who watches anything with hockey. They only care about how much money you put into the owner's pockets and into their pockets. I am a perfect example of that, of being terrible. Look, this team has been garbage for years. I still buy their jerseys. I buy hats. But that has to change. And I'm not saying it is going to change by long means of people giving him money, but the NHL's front office needs to be smarter. Just give the bad teams the good players. Allow them to try and build through the draft instead of having this circus where now, Detroit is thinking, okay, we got a chance at getting Lafreniere. How can we build around him? To now at number 4 where they're like, okay, well, the player we're getting here is nowhere close to what Lafreniere would have been at number 1. I had to take off the jersey. I was sweating, getting this angry. There's the potential that this pick, the first overall pick, well, all we know is, to break it down for you, the teams who are in the play-in rounds to lead to what will be the playoffs. Every team that loses in the play-in round will now have an even shot at the number 1 pick. You're talking about the potential. Toronto Maple Leafs, if they lose to Columbus, they could get Lafreniere. Montreal Canadiens, they could get Lafreniere. The Edmonton Oilers, if they lose their play-in round, they could get Lafreniere. By the way, Pittsburgh Penguins, there's another one. Imagine Sidney Crosby, Malkin, here you go. Lafreniere is yours. Almost every Canadian team, shocking, is in this thing. Winnipeg, Vancouver, all of them. They lose the play-in round, they got a shot. And they have as much of a shot as a team like Montreal, who finished, a couple points ahead of the Sabres to make it into the play-ins? It's a disaster. There's more teams now in the draft lottery than there was today, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean, from the play-ins. There is going to be more teams with a shot at the number 1 pick than there is going to be in the actual playoffs. It's a disaster. It's a joke. It really has become that. I wanted to read something a couple things I've seen on Twitter regarding what the hell is going on, the NHL. So the placeholder team was Team E. Congratulations, Team E. You won the draft. That placeholder team to get the number 1 pick had a 2.5, I repeat, a 2.5% chance of winning the draft lottery. A 2.5. And they magically won. 25 winning combinations in 1,000 drafts. And they won. Ottawa had a 25% chance combined between pick 2 and pick 3. And they somehow lost space in the draft. It makes no sense. Here's what I propose. If you want to keep the draft lottery, do it all live. Pull the balls on live TV and let us all watch it. I don't care about this after video that they release. You want to make the draft lottery entertaining, you pull the balls on live TV. You want to do this right and have everyone else be fine, you start doing it like Major League Baseball and the NFL. You allow these teams who are bad to pick good players. Because you know who suffers the years that these teams are bad? It's the fans. It's the fans, and the owners might suffer for a bit. But guess what? That team that's bad picks at number 1. Detroit Red Wings. They pick at number 1. They get Lafreniere. Guess what? Those fans are coming back. They brought Steve Yzerman back as GM. They're already excited about that because of what he did in Tampa Bay. You bring in Lafreniere, they're going to be even more excited. They're going to go watch. They're going to pay attention. They're going to be on this team, even though they already have a good hockey fan base. You look at previous years. Did Edmonton really need McDavid? Sure. Would they survive with Eichel? Absolutely. Because they still got Draisaitl after that. Everything else. Every year. You just let the worst team pick number 1. If a team decides to tank, the only people that suffer are the fans. It is not the players, because they still get paid at the end of the year. No one else is affected if a team tanks other than the fans. But guess what? If they get to pick number 1 and they bring in the shiny new prospect, people are going to watch and line up and get that kid's name on the back of a jersey, and they're going to be back there watching the next year. Trust me, I have been through this. Rasmus Dahlin, Jack Eichel. They weren't even number 1. Well, Eichel wasn't even number 1. And I was still excited. It's easy as that. Do it like football. Because those teams need it. You saw in football. The first 3 picks were all bad teams. Garbage teams who needed the help. But now you have the NHL who could potentially be a good team, like Toronto or Pittsburgh, just get even better. There is no longevity of caring about bad teams in the NHL anymore. I think I'm going to leave it at that before I just start losing my mind. My interest in the NHL has dropped to an all-time low. I don't know if it's, again, I think it's between my team being the embarrassment to the sport, or it's just the way that they continue to handle things. I don't understand why we had this draft lottery tonight when we don't even know if hockey is going to be played this year. And it's a disaster, in all honesty. If you are new here, make sure you are leaving a like, subscribe, argue with me in the comments, agree with me, anything. I'm curious to read. I want to know. Because I have, even for years, even when we won the Dahlin one, I am not a fan of the draft lottery. I have not been for a very long time. And every year it seems that it goes on, and a team that has a 2-3% chance somehow wins it. I care less and less every single year. And the NHL has botched it. Let me know your opinion down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching.